Between the cracks of cold, unyielding stone, a tiny spark of life emerges. No invitation, no grand plan, just the quiet truth of existence. Against the grey it rises, reaching towards the sun, a testament to resilience. Pause and see those who recognise the strength in this struggle, for life in all its forms will always find a path forwards. Back in the mid-90s I worked in a factory for a few months. My friends Den and Jean worked there too, so most days I travelled to work with one or both of them. Sometimes I took the bus, and sometimes I walked. I liked to walk, and it was only a couple of miles, so when I was on my own, I walked. One evening I finished. I'd done a late shift. It was already fully dark when I left the factory. Den and Jean had gone off somewhere else, so I headed home alone, walking along the A13, which was nothing unusual. On the opposite side of the road to me I could see those tower blocks that the locals called Legoland. Back then that stretch of road was lined with wooden fencing boards, some topped with billboards. I remember it well. It was cold and a fine drizzle was falling. The place was unusually quiet. Just the occasional car or lorry passing by. As I said, it was very dark. Then suddenly I tripped and nearly went face down into the ground. My bootlaces had come undone. I got up, steadied myself, knelt down and tied my bootlaces back up. And that was when I noticed it. There was an eerie silence, that strange hush that seems to settle just before something happens. As I stood up I caught a flicker of movement out the corner of my eye. Right in front of me, in the shadow gap between the billboards, I could see it. As my eyes adjusted to that darkness, I could clearly make out the large, dark figure perched there. What happened next happened in a split second, but is etched in my memory forever. Before I could even move, it launched itself straight towards me. I threw my hands out instinctively to try and stop it, but there was no time. I felt a slight tap on the centre of my forehead, and everything went black. I've no idea of how long I was out, or what happened to me during that time. When I finally came round, my head was heavy and I felt so disorientated. It was like I'd been given some sort of anaesthetic or drunk too much the night before. I was lying face down in the grass in mud, rubbish and the litter that used to be strewn around on the sides of the A13. I was soaked to the skin. It took me a while to remember what had happened, and when I did, I hurriedly got to my feet and made my way home. On the way back I remember glancing at my watch to see what the time was, and it was almost 3 AM. I look back on the years and the strange things that have happened to me over my lifetime, and I often wonder, why me? What do they want? And will I ever get an answer? This is like a shadow plays on my mind. It stops me from sleeping. It can sometimes cause a bit of anxiety, but I deal with that. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And I shall see you on the other side. Take care.